Hello everyone, it's ExtremeTuber7 here. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video, but this is actually a commentary version of a video that you've already seen before, I hope. I mean, if you haven't, then I'm gonna link it in the description because YouTube likes it when you do that, I'm sure you know. Or at least if you don't, you're gonna find out because this is actually gonna be a journey against what somebody that I also saw on YouTube. Their name is Shadow Stalker, by the way. If you've ever done anything related to space games or anything like that, you might have seen them as Commander Shadow Stalker. And anyway, they basically said that they're on a crusade against YouTube's sorting algorithm, and that's kind of what I am. Everybody's on a crusade against YouTube's sorting algorithm. So yeah, but so I should get back to what's actually going on in this video. Right now, there's some fighters that are launching, and I don't know why they're launching when we're going through the gate, when they're just going to be launching later anyway. Sometimes this, I guess you could say commander, has this habit of, I suppose, just doing things in their own way. I mean, it's kind of an oddly realistic simulation, in that sense. This is unscripted, by the way. I'm just literally ranting as I go, but it's not so much that I'm ranting. I know what I'm talking about because I've watched my own video and I also, you know, played it while I was making it. Well, not making the video, but anyway. So yeah, we're at the jump gate here. Right now, we're actually finally stopped. I guess this cruiser is a little bit faster than the fighters sometimes, because the fighters obviously can go at the same speed as the cruiser. So now what we're happening is they are gathering back to go through the jump gate, and now we are in the next area of where the raid will take place. We just finished a raid that you may or may not have seen. I'm actually not sure which sequence this video is in. They're not really sequenced / numbered or anything like that. It's just kind of there. They're all into this playlist, which you'll see, essentially. But there's Earth in the background there, because we are in the sector known as the Moon, but in X4, the sectors are gigantic, and actually sometimes even no pun intended, intersect with each other. And this is one of those instances where the Moon is orbiting Earth, so it's technically, we're still in what we consider the Earth-Moon system. That's how it would be in regular scientific terms. So for this... Ooh, got a bit of a warp out there. We got this thing to where it's like, okay, you're this many quadrants away from Earth, so you're still going to be considered able to see Earth, but you're so ridiculously far away that you've got, like, several sectors before you're actually there in Earth. And we're in the area of the Moon that is the farthest from the Earth, if that makes any sense. Anyway, yeah. Now, we are coming into the middle of a battle. I'd already set it up so the AI decided that they were going to correct a little bit of an issue with the Terran Protectorate. The Terran Protectorate is a faction in this game in which they're basically Earth, but I guess more not republic-y, not democratic. It's hard to say, really. But in this instance, this is, I guess you could say the player faction, and whatever the player faction, in this case it's me, I decided that this player faction was going to go after the Terran Protectorate. So, in the process of going after the Terran Protectorate, what you do is you take out all of their, well, if they were making war materials, you take out their war-making material stations or production facilities or whatever. It's like, let's say, heavy weapons or even the ammunition for those weapons, because you kind of need ammunition to fire weapons, unless the weapon itself, via heat, such as a railgun, or, well, not really, railguns have a projectile still, but let's just say lasers. Lasers are the easiest way to describe it. Most people know what you mean when you're saying lasers. But that's not actually what, in this instance, a laser would be. But yeah. So this setup here is from various perspectives, because if you're in a fight, you don't always get directly into the action and then stay into the action, because you'll die. And essentially, sometimes these bigger ships have to go around on loops, and all those other ships that you saw in the background were part of what we're seeing in this ship's perspective right now. They had been going through their own loops, doing what we're doing right now, launching their own fighters. You can't see me right now, but I'm actually circling this fighter with my mouse. If I was better at video editing, or I had a video editor, I'd do that myself. But right now, it's just me talking. So just imagine me circling that fighter right there. Are you imagining it? Because, yeah, I don't have it. Anyway, that's the first part of this raid. And as you can see, passing up here, we have another set of ships that are going to be along our pathway, because we're all going to the same location for the next part of the raid. Left you with about a minute of ambient travel time here. As we come into the station that I was talking about earlier in perspective, you'll see a little bit of a cloud pop in there. And that is the indicator that we are about to enter another combat zone. Not that that's not what it is normally, but for this purposes of this, once you can see the cloud, you'll see the space station, and then you'll start to see like beams in the distance. And we're not quite there yet, but yeah, once we get there, those beams are going to be the space station under attack. Similar to the other one that you saw earlier, but it is in a different portion. That is still the sun in the background, and if we move around a bit, you'll see that we're still near the moon, but right now that space station is just facing towards this. Well, there's not really towards this in space. Where we are relative to it, the moon is probably either behind us, to the left of us, or to the right of us. Since those don't make any difference in space, let's just say left stationward, right stationward, behind stationward, and front stationward. Oh man, I know I'm better at this space thing, but really, this is just the most casual fun I've had with a space game in a long time. I think I would probably have enjoyed Freelancer if I ever got the opportunity to play it, but I didn't really get an opportunity to play Freelancer when it came out. So yeah, right now we are doing a slow approach, not sure why, but hey, the AI has its reasons for doing what it does. Yeah. So, once we get there, you'll start to see a little bit more of the type of action that most people think of when they think of epic space battles. And because we're going so slow, you'll also notice that we may get a full ship deck of fighters before we even get there. But right now, there's only 2. Well, that one's going down. I guess we're just going to be left with that one there. And the fun thing about this is, in the game itself, you can actually, when you are not in this view right here, you can go down to that fighter from this perspective right here. Well, it'll still be a little bit of a teleport sometimes, but it depends on what type of ship you're in. But anyway, you can go down to that fighter, get in the fighter with the pilot, who is going to be an NPC, which is a non-player character, if you don't know what the term NPC is. And then you, while that was being, I guess, dragged down, you sitting in that seat would have seen that whole sequence with those gigantic doors. And they are gigantic, by the way. If you've seen another one of these videos that I've also got on this channel, it would show those doors from that perspective as well. And I think I see one of my carriers over there to the right. That is actually bigger than this one we're at. And I'm pretty sure that that carrier is just not really going to do anything, because this is honestly not that big of a station. The bigger the station, the more health points it has. And health points are, I hope, a universal thing at this point. But if not, then health points are basically just how many times you gotta hit it before it blows up, dies, or whatever. And that type of thing, it doesn't have that many. Because you can configure these space stations to have different types of modules, just like, oh, I know a good example. A factory. For instance, if you have a factory where there's a certain number of wing building extensions or whatever, generally, if you're going to say, alright, we can survive with this many things working and this many things broken, it'd be like that. So the more wings you have of the, like, say, a hospital that can be functional, this type of thing isn't a very good for that. It would go down very easily. There's not a lot of redundancy. But in some instances, it can take up to maybe even an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Hell, sometimes even a full 24 hours to assault a space station like this. Like, I say like this, but not like this one specifically. Just a space station in general. Not quite yet. It doesn't seem like we're fully in the attack stage yet. I also don't know how many fighters are behind us. If I was able to be more active, say, in a multiplayer instance. I don't know if this has multiplayer, but it probably does. But yeah, if I had somebody who was piloting this ship that isn't an AI, I would be able to do other things. Right now, all I can do is just guess at how many ships are going to be landing. Because this particular ship has the ability to store, I think, 44 fighters, which is about 11 bays of these 4 landing pad thingies. And I guess I should probably keep track of that, how many fighters. Ooh, that's embarrassing. Sir, did you lose track of the fighters again? No. They're all there, aren't they? Oh. See? You never know. You never know. And by the way, like I said, completely unscripted. I've seen this before, but that doesn't mean I know exactly what I'm going to say, and I can tell you what's going to happen, but that isn't exactly what I'm doing this for. Now, if you're still looking at the screen, you may have seen a little bit of a red area on that landing pad that I don't think was there before. And that was an indicator that I don't believe any more ships will be able to fit in there, so anything that lands there will be on top afterward. And, yep, that's it. So that one is the final fighter that would fit. Ooh, wow! That was close. Anyway, that one was the final fighter that could land in the ship, but not on the ship, I believe. It's been a while since I've really studied this, and we're scrambling! Row, go, 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 go! I wasn't even paying attention myself when I was doing that. There's already, the battle has started. So, I'm just gonna kind of go into the background a little bit, because this really doesn't need much more explanation. Those are lasers, those are missiles, those are whatever, you know, you can figure things are gonna explode, but for the purposes of telling who was attacking who, I can tell you this. Everything that is not coming towards us is us. So, for instance, those, like, slight yellowy things coming off the side, those are not being shot from our people, if you want to call them people. And anything that is going from our perspective across the screen downward or upward that is from one of these big ships is ours. Now, like I said earlier, you're not always going to be able to see the action. You can hear a lot of the explosions in the background if my voice isn't too loud. But now, you get to see the aftermath and the before. Because I think this is the same station that I showed cut apart in another video. It's just different perspectives. Now, this should hopefully be a little bit more obvious with this perspective, who's firing at who. The space station is now to our up and right. Not up, there's no up in space. Is now to our station right and station... well, that. And there's the moon to the station left. I suppose that fighter's coming in for repair, because these fighters, they also have the ability to be, you know, paper. How do I phrase that? I don't know. But there's probably a lot of excitement going on that you'd be able to participate in yourself if this was your save, or if it was somebody else's save. And that's the type of thing that I like about X4, is that, for instance, if you are watching a video on YouTube or wherever you're watching it, and you just so happen to see that there is something that really catches your attention, you'll be able to say, hey, do you by any chance have that file that I can load, or something like that? And if they do, you can literally, from start to finish, if they have it set up that way, like they could have a start save, end save, middle save, and I do that with this so that I can do that exact same thing. You'd be able to, you as in the audience and listener or viewer, would be able to take that save and then interact 100% with every moving thing that you see on the screen in this video so far, which includes a lot. Yeah, a lot. Just a lot. Every single streak, every single... well, not every single streak, because some streaks are attached to ships as lasers, but every single ship-like streak that is clearly a ship, or things like, you know, there's orange coming from that, behind purple, trails of engine trails. That type of stuff, you'd be able to go into that ship. You'd be able to play as that ship. And die as that ship, if you're not good enough to not get shot. Which you can. And I think that's probably about all I can really say on this, but I hope you have enjoyed this little bit of what I'm able to provide. I don't know how much it's going to continue like this, because, like I said, this is completely unscripted, and I really didn't think that I would be able to explain this as I was watching it again, but it was like going back through a lens of, I did this, but did I really do this? I just kind of let it go, but yes, I did. I remember, it's not just, hey, you can just point and things happen. I remember every bit of setup that happened into this, which is why I was able to explain all of this. So, yeah, bye-bye Space Station.